What's up, everybody? Hi guys, I'm Tiffany, and I'm doing a testing for the microphone. Alright everybody, today Ronnie and I broke up, and...
We broke up?
No! Woke up.
Oh! Welcome to the vlog! Yeah! So, I have to do that. So you guys, oh my goodness, guess who I have? This is Tiffany Wang.
Hey guys.
So you guys should definitely get to know her if you don't. But she graduated from Lee 2 years ago.
It's been that long.
Yeah, but she...
It goes by really fast.
Yeah, she has been one of my most valued and greatest friends I've ever had.
Oh my gosh.
And she just randomly came home this past week, and I took it upon myself just to drive to her. And
Ronnie came and visited. It was the best gift ever. Yes,
I love her family, and I love Tiffany, and just all the wisdom and just who she is. She's incredible. She's currently working in Chicago, Illinois.
It's pretty cold compared to here. So.
Yeah, she is living her best life, but that didn't all just happen in a blink of an eye. So what you probably don't know is, like, when Tiffany graduated, she really didn't have a clue what she was going to do, and she was definitely in that phase of not knowing what exactly the Lord had in store for her, but I was able to watch her over her senior year, and it was just really inspiring how you just continually trusted the Lord, especially now that I'm a senior and I'm like, oh, now I need to put that into practice.
Yeah.
And so I honestly, like, it's such a hard season, and I know that the people may be watching, or even if you're not a senior, I'm sure you could relate to some of these things. It's just the idea of change can be super scary, and you don't really know how to handle it, or you don't know how to be in a place and be present when you know it's about to go away, and all these emotions and things that keep happening. But yeah, we just wanted to, like, talk to you and see what I don't know what it is that you went through during that season of senior year, and then going into your summer, and then your new job that came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, can you just walk us through that?
Yeah, of course. First of all, Ronnie is a gem of a friend, and I don't know what I would have done without her senior year. So just her friendship is such a blessing, and if you ever get the chance to even say hello or get to know her, get in a conversation with her, please do. She will bless your life. So she literally drove 2 hours to come here and just say hello and hang out, and I'm just, like, beyond thankful. So thanks for having me here. Yeah, so senior year, I would say it didn't come easy with all the change and the transition and the school classes and all the things that have happened in a short time of 1 year, which it passes by so fast. But I definitely amen. I definitely couldn't do it. I couldn't have done it on my own, and I couldn't have done it without the people who were by my side throughout the whole time. And I would say, like, throughout my life, I've gotten just, like, little nuggets of truth that have really stuck with me and really changed the way I perceived or prepared for the future and prepared for big changes in life. And I would say my whole life I was always thinking about, like, okay, right now I am living with my family and going through school, and, like, what's gonna happen after when I have to live on my own and be in a new environment and meet new people. Change is something that's really hard, but every single time something so good comes out of it. And I think, like, growing up for me, my family actually moved around a lot. We went through many different stages of movement from just different states and different schools, and so I was just kind of thrown into change a lot, and it was hard, but I think something that I learned from it is that change can be so good at the same time, and it's a way to see God's faithfulness and no matter what circumstance you are in. So I really had to learn how to lean on my family and especially on my relationship with God. And he's definitely grown me a lot through all of those shifts and changes. So I think in a sense, it made it easier going forward into one of the biggest changes in my life, because I knew how faithful he has been in the past. And something that, like a piece of truth that I got from, I would say this is like 4 years ago that I heard this, and it was from one of my Bible school teachers. I took a gap year in Texas. Go Texas, if anyone's listening from there. So I was at a Bible school in Texas. We were learning about the book of Genesis, and I'm like, cool, let's see what this book has for you. Like, Adam and Eve and all that good stuff, but there's so much richness in that book. And I think one day the professor came and he told us about the part in the Bible where God was talking to Abraham, and he was telling him to move into a new place, and it was like move into an unknown space, a place that he's never been before, and he doesn't know anyone there, and he's by himself. And then God says, like, he gives him all of these promises. He says, I will make you a great nation, I will make your name great, I'll make you a blessing among the nations. And he kept giving these promises, and he kept on saying, I will, I will, I will, I will, you shall be. And if anything that I've learned from scripture is that repetition equals emphasis. So when you see in the Bible like something just being repeated, it's like, what is he saying? Like, focus on those words. So what I saw and like what the teacher was telling us is that God was saying, I will, I will, I will, throughout this whole change, I will, I will, I will, you shall be in me. And so I think what I got from that was, first of all, that truth just hit me so deeply because it made me realize, like, I'm worried about what school I'm going to go to at that point. I was worried about where I was going to live, who my roommates were going to be, all of these unknown and moving pieces. And at the end of the day, God was just saying, like, I will take care of all of those pieces. Just focus on me and just be in me. And so I just realized, like, I have no power to control the future, and I have no way to see or control what's going to happen, but I know that I can control I can control where my focus is and just focus it on the Lord. And when I do that, he will take care of all of these things. And so that actually connects with another verse that really struck me and still does to this day, which is when he's talking about seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and then these things will be added onto you. And so I think that fits perfectly well with in the Old Testament, in that same story where God is bringing Abraham to a new place, into an unknown space, and he promises him all of these incredible things, but none of those promises are dependent on Abraham. It's actually all on God. Like, God is the one who's saying, like, I will provide, I will do this, I will make you this, and all of these things. So all that to say is, like, something I really learned and something that really prepared me for what change can bring in my life is the fact of knowing that God is with me and he's the one who will make everything come to pass, and I can't control anything. So just giving it into his hands and just being in him. If my one focus can just be in him, and then he can take care of the rest. And it looks different for everybody. Yeah. It definitely looks different for everybody. So, but that's the one thing that I took from those people who shared those verses with me throughout my life. And like it definitely did help me with changes that were going to come in the future.
That's incredible. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Wow. So, such a wise woman. For one, you guys, that was incredible. Before she walked into this video, she was like, I have no idea what I'm going to say. And I was like, honestly, that's the best place to be, because obviously what you just said was so like, just flowed out of you and out of who you are. And so I'm really thankful you shared all of that. And I think it's really cool that you're able to look at how faithful the Lord has been to you and utilizing that knowledge into the future and like what's coming up. And so how is, like, I guess, like, practically speaking, how did being present in where you were look like for you and seeking first the kingdom. I guess, like, what did all of that look for you when you're in that period of time of not knowing what specific opportunity you're going towards in the future? Because I feel like that's where a lot of people are. That's where I'm at. And just not knowing and just trying to understand, like, what's the balance of, like, pursuing things that for the future and but also, like, trusting the Lord in that pursuit. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
What does that look like?
Man, okay, I'm trying to think more details and stories. So I would say the biggest thing, if you can focus on what's like the most important things throughout that year, to me, it was the relationships that I was building. So the spiritual relationships that I was building, the friendships, and then also the experiences I had. So just trying new things and putting yourself out there. And then once you do that, you'll find out like where your leanings are and where your passions lie, and just like following your natural lean of like what you enjoy. So with the first part, the relationships, and like focusing on that, I would say that's super important, because I found that the relationships that I created throughout my time at Lee and the people who I invested in and the people who invested in me, those are the relationships, the deep relationships that stayed strong even throughout the change. So even after I left Lee, and I actually moved to Chicago, like you mentioned before, didn't know a single person, didn't know where I was going to live or anything like that, but something that really, really helped me were the people that I had built strong relationships with before I even went into that next stage in my life. And so the people that I kept in contact with and that we had a strong relationship with, they turned out to be my anchors, like my spiritual anchors, and people who really spoke life into me, even when I was looking for a new community, finding churches, or even if I was going through a season in my life where there was difficulties. Those are the people that I could always count on to be a listening ear and to be an encouragement. And I can't tell you how many times I've like come to them and left a whole new level of encouraged. Like I just left so filled, and I was just so blessed by those friendships. So something I would encourage, like in any time of, like throughout this next year, I would say relationships are very, like, so important. So think of your, like, the anchors in your life that you want to carry on into the next stage, and be intentional with them in creating that long-term relationship. And then secondly, the experiences in trying new things. College is your time to explore, to try new things, to see what passions, to try something that you're not comfortable with. I heard this phrase, someone said it at some point in this past week, and I loved it. And he was saying how the comfort, we all have comfort zones, and they're there for a reason, and they're there for us to pass. They're there for us to cross. So if you feel like you're like nervous, or if you don't feel adequate for something, just go for it, because it's better to try it and see what can happen through it than to stay in your comfort zone and never know the possibilities of what could have happened. So like stepping into fear, or stepping in like outside of your comfort zone, is something that like college is a safe place to do, and even if it doesn't turn out the way you wanted, it's a learning experience. So college is kind of where I found my passion for people and what I'm doing right now. And it was actually during that time that I went on this trip to Israel for 10 days, and I've always wanted to go to Israel. I had no idea what that door would open for me in my future. I was just wanting to go and explore the land, see where Jesus walked, and experience the culture. And it turned out to just those 10 days in Israel just totally changed my whole perspective on the world, on my life, on what I'm doing here in America, and how I can be connected to a land that's like so far away, and how I can make it close to home. And so it was through that trip and through that experience that I went on that I found a passion for the Middle East and for Israel, and I had never had that before. and I didn't know much about it. And going into it, it was just a big learning experience. So that's like an example of an experience that I've always loved travel, and just seeing that door open for me and walking through it has shown me that so many possibilities can come through that, so many friendships and everything can come through that. And so it was through that experience that I met some of my closest friends, and it's now where that's now who I work with. So Passages is the organization that I work with, and they're just incredible. It's just something that I keep on learning. Oh yeah, plug. Honestly, just take any trip that you can, like, explore the world, because it just opens your eyes. And for you, it might be another country, it might be Europe, it might be Africa, it might be some other place, but for me, it was that specific trip that really changed my trajectory of life. So I would say experiences and relationships are definitely something to build while you're in college.
Sorry, I had to restart the camera because I had to make sure it's still filming, so we're back again, but thank you so much. I definitely agree with saying yes to things and just going for it, because failure, as much as it sucks, it's actually a good thing. You learn so much from it, and I have failed a lot, and that's just kind of a part of life. Like, that's how you're directed to where you're supposed to be. And so, yeah, I was gonna ask, like, especially since you were specifically in Lee, and I kind of know the Lee culture because that's just where I've been. But also, I think college in general is you're constantly surrounded by people your age, and you do have community in one way or another, which I don't know if everyone suffers from this, but I definitely have a fear of missing out. And I know one of my fears in graduating is, one, fear of missing out, because I am going to miss out on all the things that I've been used to after I graduate because I'm no longer there. So, and I'm afraid of that. And then also, like, a fear of kind of, like, I mentioned this earlier, but, like, being forgotten by the friends that I have made at Lee. Not necessarily a testament to, like, them being poor friendships, but it's just, like, everyone gets busy and, like, all these things. So how have you, like, if you've had that fear, or if you maybe had, like, I'm missing out, like, time period, how did you, like, deal with that? Or, yeah, just literally anything you want to say on
Hey,
that.
we're gonna get vulnerable. Okay, oh my gosh. I would say yes, it was hard. So coming from, like, a culture and like a culture like Lee, the culture that Lee has, and then going into a totally new sphere that you're just discovering, it was hard. And I would say yes, like, there were times that I missed, like, it was the centennial year that I graduated in, so, like, halfway through, there's all these celebrations and things that I really wanted to be a part of and just, like, see, and so I just missed campus so much, and I still do. But I think that something that really helped me was to know that, like, it's time to pass the baton, and, like, that chapter in my life is now for other people to grow in and enjoy, and I can, like, cheer them on from afar, and then make new experiences where I am now. And so I feel like every chapter of your life is there for a reason, to teach you what you need to learn. And once you move on to the next chapter, there's all of these new possibilities. And so something that I really believe in the power of prayer, and having God be the person that just anchors you and helps you through each new experience. And so one of the prayers that I've always prayed for is, like, wow. I would always say, like, God, wow, this year was just incredible. Or I would say, like, however the year was, like, if it was good or not. And I would say, like, this year was amazing. I pray that next year can be even better, if that's even possible. And so, like, that gives me just, like, permission for God to outdo himself the year before. And I was like, man, if Lee was amazing as it was this year, like, God, I can't wait for what you're going to do next year. And, like, opening up that possibility of saying, like, this is not all that there is in life, and, like, the best is yet to come, and coming at it from a a mindset of abundance instead of scarcity. I feel like having a mindset of abundance is like, man, these experiences were amazing, but there's more to come, and kind of just proclaiming that over your life and praying for that. And like, yes, God will bring new experiences in your life, because He's a God who creates. Like, He creates. He's the best author. And I'm like, man, if you created a story like the Bible, and like all, like you've created a masterpiece of history and people, and like Ronnie, and like and just like, He's a creator God. And so if He can do that and come up with so many different opportunities and people in life's paths of life for people, then He can definitely do that in our lives, like in our futures. So I'm like, God, if You are a creator God, which You are, can You be the author of my story and write only a story that You could write, and let me be a part of it. So yeah, I would say, yes, it is hard. Yes, you technically will be missing out, but there's new opportunities to come. And God, like, having a relationship with God is an adventure, and there's new things all around the corner.
Yeah.
Woo! We're young. We're like, what, 24? In our early 20s? We're in our 20s. We're in our early 20s. So like, we have so many years ahead of us, like so many possibilities.
Yeah, and even if you're older, you still have opportunities and things. You still have life to live.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's funny, because I think even, I don't know, I always get kind of discouraged when people are like, when I say like, I'm a senior in college, and they're like, oh man, enjoy it, like, it's
enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah, enjoy life while while it's good. And I'm just like, oh, not that college has been bad, it's just more of like, it kind of makes you sad that you're like, oh, all the good in life is happening right now, and I mean, hopefully, like, I have a lot more years to live, and like, it's not gonna be as good or better. And so I guess it's so easy to get discouraged in those comments, but it's actually nice to hear someone say, like, actually no, like, you're going from glory to glory, and like, God has something good for you.
Go Ron, John, just keep it going.
I'm embarrassed. But like, there's something there for you in every season. But it, like, even if it's a hard season, doesn't mean it's not good too. I think it redefines like what is good in your life, and I think growth is good. And if you stayed in the same place your whole life, then you're not going to grow. You get stagnant.
It's like pruning. It's like pruning a tree or pruning a plant. Like, you have to like cut off some things in your life in order to grow and see what's out there. And yeah, just having a growth like mentality, I think, is helpful.
Yeah, and the cutting off process is hard.
It hurts.
It hurts, but it's necessary.
You learn a lot.
Yeah, I feel like I'm about to go through a lot of that, but it's a good time. But yeah, honestly, senior year is whack. It's been crazy, but have a whole semester left. Who knows what the Lord's gonna do? He can change something in a day. I could be back at Lee today, and somebody come up to me and be like, "Look, here's an opportunity," and I'll be like, "Okay," and that'll transform my worries and all the things.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tip, I am so thankful for you, and I am so glad that you got to talk to whoever watches. Again, if it's just my mom, love you, Mom.
We love you, Mom.
Yeah.
All the moms out there.
All
this
the
is for
moms
you.
out there. Yeah, and honestly, this video could be for anyone, even if you're not a senior in college. Like, I'm just not in other seasons of life. Like, I haven't experienced a lot yet because I'm only 21. And so I can only speak to some experiences, but I know that there's lots of change that hit people. Whether you're going from being like, just like single to married, or like you're about to have a child, or like a third child,
or a fourth.
Megan Allen. She had a third baby. Did you know that?
Congrats!
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, so there's always going to be change in life, and I think ultimately, like, we're always supposed to embrace it, even if it's really hard. And so, yes, embrace the change, because look at her, she's glowing.
Oh my gosh, it's the sun outside.
Yeah. Hi you guys, so thank you for watching the vlog, and I don't know who's gonna be on next time, but wasn't Tiff amazing?
Oh my gosh, Ron is amazing.
Tiff's amazing, oh my goodness, just so much wisdom, and I'm so thankful for his friendship. But I hope you guys have a happy Thanksgiving.